On Welcome to Breakfast Fest. It's old Big Mick. And that's right. It's Monday night, which means it's time for Monday Night WAAAGH. Hopefully, there's not a grot with a steel chair up there. All right, guys. For those of you that are new here, don't know how this goes, every Monday, just about, we live stream here on the Red Ones Go Fasta, and we get our stream going. We give everyone a couple minutes to get here, get the red squig cracked open, grab themselves a nice cup of squig juice, and we settle in. So before we get going with that, though, if yeah, you're supposed to. It's Monday Night WAAAGH! All right, good night, there, big guy.
My old Big Mac.
Good night, favorite guy. Well gone. Yeah, so how this is going to work is if you are watching this on the replay, there's usually like a little bump right about there where everybody fast forwards to because we actually start talking about the stuff. Until then, we're just getting the links out there, getting everybody a minute to get settled in, including my Grot in his bed. All right, so bear with me while I get going here. But I see some people in the comments already. Dirt Hermit, how are you, my friend? Shats in the Dark, good evening. Shady Snakes, let's go. I'm Messiah Sphinx. Sterorasta 56, hello and welcome. Hey, Dirt Hermit, what is the status of the truck, the speed buggy? Oh, the Grots love you guys too, believe me. They are excited for the day that they get to take over the channel. They were talking about it all weekend that one day it's going to be like the Grots, Red Ones Go Fasta and not old Big Mac. And I'm just not going to be here at all. Sour Patch Red Squigs, I like it. All right. Let's see. 97420 Empire 3 says, I decided to skip the launch box and just got a second copy of the 10th edition launch box for 95. We'll get a normal starter box for 11th and kit bash. Hey, I like that. I respect it. I respect it. We are definitely going to be talking about the launch, though. So give me a second to get the link going and get my software. Pow! There we go. All right. Now getting my chat software up here. Oh, come on. Durham says, still waiting for the shop. Oh, you need the Big Mac. Just got the water pump kit today. Cool. I'm glad you are getting that into the proper Big Macs after finding out how crazy that repair was. Forgot that the 3.0 was a little harder to work on than the other ones. Yeah, no, I figured you with the 10th edition starter 9.7. I'm sure there are no more copies of Leviathan left out there at this point. All right, Omniscience Sync says the store I got my orcs is telling me that he only had 1 day to get his order in. Is that the same everywhere in the US? That is the same everywhere in the world. So how this works is the day before Games Workshop tells all of us about a pre-order is the day that your friendly local game stores and even your Warhammer corporate stores have to put in their order. So that's why I was saying, last week's live stream of like, hey, go talk to your FLGS, put in your order now, is because they were taking orders in like all week so that on Friday they could put in their order. They could all only put in their order on Friday. A lot of places started getting their boxes on Saturday, right? Which is crazy. Hermit, who runs a water pump off a timing belt? Ford does. They actually run it off a timing chain, especially in the new EcoBoost V6s. So if you think water pumps that are buried very, very deep inside of engines powered by timing components are stupid, definitely don't buy a modern Ford. Yeah. Let's see. 9-7 says, I hear the start box looks new too. Yes, it is. So the one thing we don't know is we don't know whether or not there's going to be a 2 army starter box or not. We know for sure that there are 2 starter boxes that are single army. There's the beaky one that's got the 10 intercessors, the 5 jump pack dudes, the captain, and the oh shoot, what was the other? Or did they not get another character? On the land speeder. I'm not sure if they get another character in there or not, but I know that they're missing the Eradicator guys, and I know that they're missing a lot of the characters. And then on the orc side, we know that it's 20 boys, 10 grots, the war boss, the weird boy, and the mega track. So that the you get a lot more models with the orc one, even though you get a lot more points with the beaky one. But yeah, first weird boy, damn, I own a 2023 game. As long as you're not a V6, you're okay. Their 4 cylinders are fine. It's the EcoBoost V6, the 3.0, the 3.5, and the 2.7. They have the timing chain driven water pump, and it causes some issues. Yeah. Tug Bobo says, how long we've been live? About 350. Is it about 3 minutes and 50 seconds? You just got here as soon as we got going. In fact, we don't even have our goal up yet. So let me get our goal going here. We are going to shoot for the moon again because we did it last time and it was awesome. And this time I have something else to show you guys, which is the sneaky beaky scheme reveal. So, all right, super chat goal should be live. There we go. All colors accepted as usual. And yeah, if we hit our goal this time, I have for you guys, before anybody else gets to see it on a regular video, the finalized paint scheme for my New Year, New Army Sneaky Bakies. So obviously this guy doesn't have it yet. All I have are my test schemes done, but I have been doing lots of test schemes and I have like really dialed it in. So that is going to be our goal for tonight's super chats. For those of you that are wondering about the super chats, what that is up there is a goal for chats, and it could be any of the chats. A lot of channels do like where you have to do bigger chats for it to count. We don't like that here. If you're gonna pump us up, we're gonna take it. But how YouTube makes channels grow, especially channels that are our size, is when we do live streams, they look for interaction. And one of the ways that they judge interaction more so than anything else is with the super chat. So if we set a goal and we meet the goal, that tells the almighty YouTube algorithm that this channel is worth watching and sends it out to more new people. And that's how we're going to hit 10,000 subscribers right there. We are so stinking close. We're at 9,540 something. We got less than 500 to go, you get. So let's make the super chats happen. Share with a friend. Talk about us at your friendly local game store. Wear your merch. And let's get 10,000 so that I can build my own YouTube plaque to go right there, because you used to get it. You used to get the bronze plaque at 10,000, but now there's too many channels with 10,000, so YouTube doesn't send you anything except for a piece of paper. So we're going to make our own. We're going to make it orky. Hey, Kit Bashington first. Let's go. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Hey, Crimson Chained. Much appreciated with you as well. Look at that. We got 10% on the board, and we've only been talking for 5 minutes. That's the way I like to see it. All right, let's see. Punch says, I already pre-ordered my orc half of the Armageddon box along with Gazgul. Now I wait for them to arrive. Nice. Yeah, so 9-7, I really like that we have the split starter sets. I really, really do. A lot of people like kind of don't want to get a starter set because they're not interested in one of the armies. Usually it's the non-beakies, right? But still, I mean, I've definitely talked with people, lots of people that aren't interested in the beaky half. Like, oh, I play Necrons. I'd really like to do Necrons. This was back in 9th edition, but I don't want all the Space Marines. You talk to me like, well, actually, you could buy the starter set. You could sell the Space Marine half. You can make a bunch of money. But a lot of people, especially if they're not gamers, if they're collectors, right, which a lot of us are, this is the Beer and Pretzels channel, right? We are all here for the hobby. This is not your meta tournament player scene. But yeah, like we're sitting here, we're drinking our red squig at night, painting our little dudes, having them on the shelf. Maybe we'll play a game a couple times a year. If you're not up on wanting to have all the latest rules all the time, kind of a deal, like buying this giant 2-player starter box with all this stuff in it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I really, really, really like that they took almost everything from Armageddon and stuck it in a box that will be available for us to buy. And what we're hearing is that box is going to be available. I say in perpetuity, obviously not in perpetuity, but throughout the entirety. That's a much better word of 11th edition. So as soon as the start here boxes come out, they're not limited. They're not FOMO. They're not like Armageddon, where you've only got the 1 week to get them in. They're just you're always going to have it on the shelf. You're always going to be able to buy it, which I really really like. Plus, it's a very repeatable box. If you want to load up on some boys, getting 20 boys and 10 grots is great. And then a mega track, once you run out of however many mega tracks you could take, it's probably going to be 3, but maybe there'll be a detachment where you can take more, or maybe you can do squadrons. Who knows? But once you've run out of mega tracks, you can always or war tracks. Why do I call them mega tracks? Because mega tracks scrap jet. But once you run out of war tracks, you could use those for kit bashing, right? Like that, you could do all sorts of cool stuff with those. And then same thing like the new Giganto War Boss. You can use him to do some kit bashes or sell him. So yeah, lots of repeatability in that box. I'm really happy with it. Jojo M1 says, wow, sweet t-shirt. I have the same one. I'm glad you guys do. Of course, you all know if you get the New Year, New Army shirt, you get an extra bonus entry into the contest to win Armageddon. And just so you guys know, I've got my orders in. Everything is confirmed. I've got 2 coming from Tiger, who is one of our friendly local game store owners on our Discord. Support the people who support you, right? So, hey, he owns a game shop. He had some orders. I sent him a DM and was like, hey, man, do you mind if I order a couple from you? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So got 2 coming from him. And then my local friendly local game store is the one that is the closest drive to me. I went in and talked to them as well and ordered another one through them. So just trying to cover my bases, make sure, but yeah, so I got 1 coming for me and I got 1 coming for the contest, and we'll see if maybe we'll get an extra one to do something else with. But yeah, so that's what we got coming in here. So yeah, contest is definitely on fire. So how this is going to work, guys, for those of you that haven't figured it out yet, I'm assuming most of you there in the chat have entered the contest with your armies. I'm seeing a lot of names that are very familiar from Discord. I am going to be putting up a special category just for the contest that's going to open on June 20th. You've got, what day is it? You got 12 days before this happens. You got 12 days left to paint on your models. Hopefully, your army is a little less gray than mine. Because yeah, I'm trying to do this in my own time frame too. We'll get to that. But on the 20th, that's when the special category is going to open. And then everybody will have from the 20th to the 30th, 10 whole days to post their final entries. And when you post your final entry, it is going to be a nice display of your whole army, whatever you got done, whatever size it is. If you did a single Blood Bowl team, that is totally cool. Nice shot of your Blood Bowl on the pitch. You did a kill team, get your kill team out, put it on some terrain, make it look cool. That's the whole thing. Make it look cool, because we are going to do a live stream where we go through every single photo in that album, no matter how long it takes. Remember, armies are my favorite thing. So I am looking forward to this immensely, and doubly so because, spoiler alert for those of you that don't know yet, Armies on Parade has rumored to have been canceled. If you don't know what Armies on Parade is, it was a Games Workshop thing where you would go into the store on a certain day, you'd bring your whole army, you'd set it up, they'd give out awards for your army. And then it grew into online too, and they had different categories, and it grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where it was really about these very, very elaborate displays that were within the box that Games Workshop would allow you to display your army. And it kind of became like diorama on display. And then last year, they finally changed the rules, and they had dioramas in one category and actual armies in another. And it was fantastic. It was one of the best contests of all time. You can go back to Warhammer Community, last year and take a look at all of their winners and special ones that they wanted to show you. And it is just super duper inspiring. I really love it. And I don't know why it's rumored to have been canceled when it has gotten so big. I don't know if Games Workshop just doesn't have the bandwidth for it. They're so busy making $1.6 billion in a year that they can't figure out how to run a tiny little contest that isn't even really a contest, because each store owner just like, yeah, here's your little coin or certificate, right? So our New Year, New Army might be replacing Armies on Parade. Go figure. Old Big Mac has to figure out everything Games Workshop good that doesn't exist anymore and keep it going for you guys. It's a hard life, but we're gonna do it, right? So that's how Armies on Parade is gonna work. Or Armies on Parade. That's how New Year, New Army is gonna work. You're gonna have from June 20th to June 30th to post that final photo. Make it look as cool as you can with whatever you got done. So you got 12 days left to get pumped. Well, technically what 22 days left because you can wait all the way to the 30th, but come July 1st we are done. No more entries because we'll be doing the live stream at some point that weekend, the whole July 4th weekend arena in there, possibly on the 3rd. I don't know, we'll see when, but somewhere right in there, between like July 1st and July 6th, that's when we will be doing the live stream covering each and every single entry. And then we will be drawing the winner of the Armageddon Lunchbox Live, and that will be shipped out to you on Monday, July 6th. So there we go. If you guys like that, can you hit the little thumbs up like button for me? Because I really appreciate it. And that is the other way that the almighty YouTube algorithm decides that this is good content. So if you hit the thumbs up, if you really didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. I don't care either way. It counts the same for the metrics. Go figure. Which is why those negative videos do better than positive ones, because way more people will hit a down up button than an up button. Go figure. Yeah. Anyways, so Dirt Hermit says Games Workshop is the type of corporation that while they do big things badly, they do small things badly too. That sounds like a t-shirt. Let's go. Oh, Burton Denali says I got very little painting done on my New Year, New Orcs. Very unlikely to finish time. Hey, everybody, listen to me. I don't care if you made your goal or not. Obviously, if you made your goal, I am very excited and happy for you, and you're going to get a giant congratulations. But it's not about finishing the goal. It's about making forward progress. I don't care if you only got one mini painted out of your entire army project. Post the one mini. It still counts. I will still accept it. We will still go forward with it. You don't even have to post painted ones. Maybe your goal was like, we were all on the sprue when I started. These didn't exist. So for me, even getting the army built and out of the pile of shame of boxes and into the pile of shame of gray Marines is an accomplishment. So I don't care if they're painted. I don't care if you didn't make your own goal, that you made some progress. And so if you made any progress at all, please post it in that category between the 20th and the 30th. Again, I like my contests to be very low barriers to entry and very positive. We are not here to beat each other up. We are here to bring ourselves forward together as a community. All right. So, Burton Denali, you got 12 more days to work on it. But even if you only get one guy done, or all you've done is built some guys, throw them up. You're still in, my friend. You are still in, because that's the way old Big Mac rolls. Oh, Nicholas Bouchard says that he's painted a truck and has a work in progress was DACA. Hey, you finished a truck. That's one more truck than I finished. Oh, Dirt Hermit. Wait, you just told someone with what? What wasn't good to be one? Blah. Gray Shields. The Red Baron, LeBaron. I like it. Okay. All right, trying to get caught up with the chat. Sorry, guys, it's a little bouncy in there, so we'll just move forward. Totally not going to make your goal, but you probably have half of it. Hey, that's still a lot closer to your goal than you would have been if you didn't do the contest, right? Let's all be honest with ourselves. If you didn't have an outside force pushing you, where would you be? And that was the whole point of the contest. Hey, I'm Messiah Sphinx, got 1,000 points Death Guard done. Let's go. Yeah, 97420 in part 3. I feel you needing to see the new rules and points and all that stuff before kit bashing. I'm not doing a whole lot of work on my own works. I've been painting my squad of commandos because I know for sure those aren't going to change, other than I put my knob on a 40 millimeter base because I know what's up. But I've been painting on those, and I've been saving everything else for post Armageddon. Hence my choosing a non-orc army for the New Year, New Army, so I'd have something to work on while I knew I was sitting around waiting, because I don't want to do kit bashes and stuff if models were about to be replaced, like the truck. Oh, Dirt Hermit, you told them there wouldn't be a dedicated contest channel. Yeah, the first half there's not, right? Because everyone's got to post the before photo, and you do that in your individual, put your Beakies in the Beakies, put your Necrons in the Necrons, put your Conflict 47 in the other games. Yeah, those like your befores don't have a dedicated channel. The ending is a dedicated channel, but that channel does not exist until the 20th. And everyone will have from the 20th, which is the day that Armageddon arrives, until the end of the month, which is the 30th, to post their photos. And then at the end of those 10 days, like I said, we'll do a live stream. We'll go through each and every single army photo, no matter how long it takes on the live stream. So I better have all my Red Squig mugs ready for my pro voice. But we'll be going through that all together, and then we're going to draw the winner live. So, hey, True Brain Freezing, WAAAGH to you as well. All right, yeah, JHugh781 says it's nice to see 11th edition boxes available for pre-order. That is a fantastic segue into our first portion of tonight, which is Armageddon pre-orders are on, and you guys just heard me giving Games Workshop the business, right? So I'll call them out when it's bad. All I got to do is say the words Imperial Guard, and I'll go on a 3-hour rant. But I think it's also equally important to call out the good. And honestly, everything about the Armageddon launch was good. It really, really was. First of all, they made enough of them. They are absolutely everywhere. There's a bunch of friendly local game stores that already have them. And just about every Warhammer corporate store already has them, to the point where some already had them assembled. And there was at least one store that already had the whole box painted and on the out in the store on display on the launch day, which was wild to me. But yeah, they are already out there. Games Workshop did the rolling rollout, so every time zone got their own dedicated time to do the pre-orders. And if if your shipping address was not in that time zone, they would not accept your order. I love that. That takes all of the craziness out of ordering, websites going down, people have to be up at 4 a.m. to do the order. I love that you could just wait till 10 a.m. your time or whatever it was, totally reasonable time frame, and put in your order. Now, once again, I already had my orders in, right? I ordered from Tiger's Friendly Local Game Store online, who had a pre-order up at, midnight the day of. And then my friendly local game store, I had gone in person, talked to the owner, was like, hey, put down my name on the list, when you make your orders on Friday, make sure, one comes from me, which was super easy. But I checked anyway on Saturday when it came out. I checked right away. The website loaded right away. I was like, all right, cool. And then I gave it a little bit. I checked again at about 10:35, 10:40, somewhere around there. It had been, like I said, 35, 40 minutes into our 1 hour exclusive window. I was still able to just pop right on and order one if I wanted to. In fact, it did not sell out at all, to the point where the next day, it was today, this morning, Monday, Games Workshop on their socials went, hey, Armageddon is out. Don't forget you can order it, with a link to their own website. And you could anybody in any time zone could go into Games Workshop right now and order Armageddon again. So they clearly have plenty. They kept the scalpers down, which I really like. Hey, remove Equalizer. He pre-ordered through the FLGS, but saw the models in GW. That's the way to go. And thank you for that super chat. That is super chat number 3 in our goal to 20 here tonight. Once we hit that goal, I will show you guys the sneaky beaky paint scheme and go over that. But yeah, I really think that Games Workshop did the launch right, did the rollout right, to the point where, and this kind of harkens back to what we talked about in the last video, which is I feel like Armageddon is kind of on this cusp of, it had 3 different things wrong with it, right? The beaky side was not very, I don't want to say not very good. It didn't have any sizzle. It didn't have anything that made beaky players go, I absolutely have to have this, right? Dark Imperium launched Primaris. Everybody wanted every model in that box. Indomitus launched the Vanguard vets, or the first guys with the drip and all that jazz, right? Plus, they had the brand new character and the Judiciar with that really crazy sword and a bunch of other brand new characters that were new. And it just had drip for days. Plus the bikes, right? The Outriders were brand new. So that box had a ton of sizzle. And then Leviathan had Terminators, properly scaled Terminators. Who cares what the rest of the box was? Everybody wanted for Terminators, right? So the last 3 boxes in a row have had crazy good beakies, and this box just didn't have them, right? So that was one problem. Another problem was it's just priced too high. $299 or $295 or whatever it was just too dang high. And we saw that bear out this weekend because not only were people getting Armageddon on discount, they were getting it on steep discount. In fact, right now, I checked right before the live stream, I still found friendly local game stores that did online sales that had verified in stock orders available of the Armageddon launch box for $250 US. Now that's taxes, shipping, everything, like to your door, 250. They're taking $45 off the top of this thing, and that's what I'm talking about. That price needed to come down for people to actually be able to buy this. So, yeah, in fact, the orders I did through Tiger, they were discounted, and then even my friendly local game store, even though it's not as discounted, I want to support the place where like I can actually go play a game if I want to. So I'm willing to pay a little more, but it was still discounted. I did not pay $295 anywhere, right? So that is really, really important. So like that was point number two, and then point number three was just the whole like world economy period, like independent of whatever price they give, like almost price inelastic, just the whole world sucks right now, right? Like we talked about this. There's wars everywhere. Inflation is absolutely bonkers. Prices for everything are through the roof. Like, even if you are like comfortable, you're probably not feeling very comfortable. And spending any kind of money on a hobby is a really like guilty feeling thing right now. So like just acknowledging that, right? Like we don't want to get into that kind of stuff on the channel, right? We are here to like get you out of that to provide a little tiny sliver of relief in this like existence that we have. But we do want to at least acknowledge that it is there and does exist. Now, all that being said, I feel like because the way they did the rollout, that there were plenty of stocks, so people didn't get FOMO and run up the price. You didn't have scalpers running away with it, and friendly local game stores got enough stock that they were able to actually discount it. I feel like it was a huge win, to the point where, again, like here we are. It is Monday night. Armageddon went on pre-order on Saturday at midnight, and you can still get online right now, this instant, and buy it from Games Workshop at full price, or spend 10 seconds, on the interwebs, and you can find plenty of places selling at a discount, up to a really steep discount of $250, all in, taxes shipped and everything. So I think that's a really great deal. If you have not gotten the Armageddon box yet, you're on the fence for it. If you can afford to do it at the 250 price point, I would highly recommend that. Now, again, for those of you that don't want the beaky side, don't want to pay that kind of money, whatever the case may be, or just like you're interested in the orcs, you don't really play the game. Again, there is that orc start here box that is coming. It is fully photographed and confirmed by Games Workshop 1,000%. This is not rumors, it's not conjecture. We know this is coming. They're probably going to announce the pre-order in the next week or two once Armageddon actually sells out on GW's website, at least. And inside that box, you get the War Boss, the Weird Boy, the 20 Boys, the 10 Grots, and the War Track. The only thing you are missing is the character sprue that has the Banner Knob, the Big Boss, and the Pain Boy, and then the new Dakarig. Now, I know not getting the Dakarig is kind of lame, but they have said that every single model in Armageddon is going to be available separately after. So it's not like Indomitus or Leviathan, where there were certain models that didn't come out for years afterward. They've said that like, no, they're going to come out. And they're going to come out fairly quickly. Like Armageddon was designed to be you are the most excited for it. You want everything in one go, but whatever your circumstance, if you can't do that or don't want to do that, they're going to give you an avenue, which I do like. A unit of Centurions. I mean, Centurions would have been cool. the world when Papa Nurgle running around. Now it is the world where Korn is running around. Oh, geez. Well, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. So, True Brain Freezing says the box armor getting here is like $400+. Yeah, I know Australia, New Zealand absolutely got the short end of the stick again. So, for those of you that don't know, if you don't follow like worldwide pricing structures, Games Workshop does not price things at the same price in different countries. I don't mean like obviously they're not going to price it at 200 pounds British and 200 US dollars. They're not worth the same. What I mean is they don't even equivalency price it, right? So if the cost in the UK was 150 pounds and that equals $300 US, they would price it at like 325 or 350 or whatever. Like they don't make it even. And Australia gets the absolute worst end of the stick because not only is the currency valuation like really, on the bad end for Australia, but Games Workshop prices it higher out there than anywhere else in the world. So the equivalency is way higher, like to the point where most Australians that I talk to, they will order outside of Australia and try to get it shipped in, or like have a friend bring it on a plane like in packed luggage, or like it's really 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 bad out there for Games Workshop stuff. I don't know why they do that, but I am not a fan of it and I really wish they didn't. That being said, if you get merch from DreadOnesGoFaster.com and you live in Australia, they make it in Australia. So you actually pay the same equivalent price as everybody else in the world, which is really, really awesome. So keep that in mind, my Aussie friends. If you're upset at Games Workshop and the way they do pricing and the way they support you, hold Big Mac Scotch back. Yeah, I know it costs more to ship. I've got some friends that are actually from Australia that live up here, some car friends that do car things. And they kind of fly back and forth. And that is actually one of the things that they do is they'll bring like cargo basically on their flight back to Australia. And it's usually car parts because that it has the same issue that Games Workshop stuff does, that you want to buy a new set of wheels or whatever. In the US, they're relatively affordable. That same set in Australia is hideously expensive. Then obviously shipping wheels is crazy. But when you're flying back and forth a bunch and flying cargo and doing shipping containers and stuff, yeah, he'll load them up because he'll like sell. He buys cars in America that they can't get in Australia and ships them over there, and then buys cars in Australia that they can't get in the US and ships those over here, which is pretty cool. So like we get Holden Moneros and things, and they get like Toyota Land Cruisers. But he stuffs every cubby hole in the container that has the cars with car parts, and potentially Games Workshop stuff. But yeah, it's pretty wild to see the things that really crafty, cunning Aussies will do. So you could certainly make it happen if you wanted it hard enough. Remove Equalizer says, find a mom and pop with a good community. Two of my local stores are 20% less than GW. Absolutely. That is fantastic. So, who was asking that? True Brain Freezing was asking at a good place to look at. Let everyone know where you're located so that they can help with recommendations. Obviously, if you're in the US, I would recommend Tiger's store. Out east, we have another person in our Discord that runs a store in Canada that could help out if you're in Canada. And then I know a couple of people have some really good stores in the UK. So definitely let people know in the chat where you are and they can help you out with that chat. All right, guys, friendly reminder here. Don't forget, we are doing our super chat goal up here. We are at 3 out of 20. If we hit all 20, the almighty YouTube algorithm will push the channel to more new people so that we can hit 10,000 subs and so I can make a really cool wall plaque. So we definitely want to do that. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, which is up there on my screen, but I think it's down there on your screen. It's always fun to like try to figure out where they put things on these screens. But let me know in the comments whether or not you bought Armageddon, and if you did buy it, how many you bought and what kind of discount you got. Again, I already told you guys I ordered two from a channel viewer that runs a game store back east, and then I got one from my friendly local game store, and I got all three at discount. Do I plan on getting the Orc Start Here box? It depends on what I do with that third Armageddon box. Honestly, there's a chance that it goes to Dirt Hermit. He's trying to order one at the cheaper rate rather than have me ship him one. But all else fails, that happens. But if not, like I'll use it for something else. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to be kit bashing 20 boys and 10 grots and all that. So I think more than likely I'm going to skip the Start Here Orc box. But if more Orc units come, which again we kind of think that there's 8, We know of at least two of them. I'm going to need to get my mitts on lots of these so that we can do some kit bashes and some cool stuff on the channel. Hey, Swift182, thank you for that super chat. Much appreciated. Says he got his box from his FLGS for $3.90 Australian. That's a pretty good discount on the Aussie price, isn't it? Not that I like remember all the prices off the top of my head because but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty decent discount. So it sounds like if you're in Oz land, you should talk to Swift 182 and he can let you know where to go to potentially get a discount. So Ben Merrill says they ordered one box for 250 on eBay. That is a good idea is to look at eBay. eBay obviously is a giant company, right? But they are not like Amazon, right? Like Amazon, most of the stuff on Amazon is owned by Amazon. There are a lot of third parties, but the third parties that sell on Amazon, they pay like really crazy fees and like stocking and stuff, or they do drop shipping. It's kind of a mess out there. eBay, everybody is third party. eBay themselves don't sell anything. They just provide the platform. And it's actually a great place for friendly local game stores to sell things. Our own Mindtaker Miniatures has a huge eBay shop. But those local game shops can list stuff on eBay and sell and ship all over the world or wherever they're located and stuff. It might be a good way to find a game store in your country that might have things on discount. So yeah, you might not be able to get it for 250 shipped from a shop in the US, but maybe you could find a shop in your country that'll get you a lot closer. So definitely something to think about. Let's see. Oh, Bill DeFranz of 4927 says, I got my Armageddon box from Herrick Games. Have not heard of them before, so this is excellent new information. Full 15% discount, so $250.75 and free shipping. And being out of state, no sales tax. My FLGS was doing it for $255, so I was thinking about getting it there. Oof, that's hard. I mean, obviously, you on the one hand, you're like, oh, $255, like it's only $5 more. Help your local game store. But if you live in a state that has high sales taxes, like I do, it's like 9-something% around here. Like that's a lot of bones. You're adding, almost $25 to the cost of a box. So really you're paying $30 more, right? That's almost a whole nother box. So, totally get that. Sorry guys, I am rough today. Not that like I've been hitting the squig sauce too hard. I've been fully released from the physical therapist for my power claw, and so I hit the gym before doing this, and yeah, I hit it hard, and it hurts. So if I'm more groany or crunky than usual, that's what's going on. Oh, oh yeah, Bill DeFranz in New York State, yeah, very high sales tax, absolutely. Yeah, you would have been like 275. Oh, Rectopus has a great question in here. Says the launch box is tempting, but I'm wondering would the Beakies work for Black Templars? Not only would they work, I honestly think they would be fantastic for Black Templars. First of all jump pack guys work great with Black Templars. So boom, there you go. Having the Vanguard vets with the jump packs and the power swords is a total Black Templar unit you're in. Same thing with chaplains. Chaplain with jump pack is also an excellent Black Templar unit. You're good to go there. You can't use the librarian. So there is one model you can't use, but it would be easy enough to sell him off if you want to, or paint him up and throw him in your display case just because he looks cool. The Ancient, obviously, you can use again another pretty decent model for Black Templar. The Captain is a regular captain on foot with the Storm Shield and the Mastercrafted weapon. Again, another excellent loadout for Black Templar. And then the land speeder will be available for everybody. Black Templar tend to do pretty well with anything that can move kind of fast. So again, excellent there. So what it really comes down to is the Beaky Squad, the 10 intercessors. Now, I did a little video or a little thing on the intercessors on the ways I would do it. I think that they make a terrible regular intercessor squad. The mixed armors honestly don't look great. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Black Templar lore, Black Templars are fleet based and they are crusade based. So they don't have companies, they have crusades. And each crusade keeps crusading until it is done. I don't think any crusade is actually finished. They just keep adding new crusades, right? So there are definitely, Black Templar crusades that have been going on for 10,000 years, right? So you're going to have some Black Templar that are kind of wackadoodle. In fact, Black Templar was the first army to get a Primarisized firstborn guy with the Castellan. right? Where Games Workshop was like, oops, yeah, I guess he's kind of firstborn, right? But first of all, regular beaky squads with just bolters don't really feature in Black Templar armies. But second, just the mixed loadout doesn't work. So I've said that the mixed loadout, like the way that those armor looks, either make a veteran squad, which you could totally do, or make them Red Corsair Chaos, which is my plan. For Black Templar, there's a third option, and that is the Sword Brethren. So the Sword Brethren is a Black Templar only unit that just has drip for days. I mean, they make me look like not very merchandised. Like they are so overdone. They've got the tabards, they've got the robes, they've got the capes, they've got the chains, they've got the candles, they've got the skulls. Like, dude, they're to the nines. But when you buy the Sword Brethren box, there are a zillion bits in it. Like you can legit make 2 full squads out of 1 box. Super easy. Grab yourself 5 more bodies, boom, you're in. Bob's your uncle, no problem whatsoever. You could even stretch it to 3 squads, depending on what you wanted to do, pretty easily, especially if you have a Black Templar upgrade frame from like a Black Templar combat patrol. That gives you enough extra bits to kind of make it go all the way and make 3 full squads. So what I would do is, if I was a Black Templar player, I would go buy a Sword Brethren box, and then I would use the bits with the new intercessors in the Armageddon box to make more Sword Brethren. And I think you would end up with some choice units that just have drip for days and look amazing and look very Black Templar. That would be my suggestion. But yeah, it makes an excellent Black Templar army. Oh, let's see. Kayla6598 has a great question. It says, I keep hearing rumors of the Octarius terrain coming back. If it does, do you think the mech workshop will come back with it? Yes, I talked about this in a video actually. So the Mech Boy workshop was an excellent model kit the Games Workshop made. It may honestly be the best model kit they've ever made. And like, I know I'm old Big Mac. It's an orc focused channel. Of course, I'm going to love it. I mean, like this was because it came out before it started the channel, obviously. But when it came out, I bought it, I built it, I painted it, and I was like, man, this is fantastic. Like this is so good. Like I just wanted more terrain like that. So when they did Octarius, they did the Big Ed Boss Bunker, right? I had to get those as well. And it was all because of that Big Mac workshop. There's a mobile game called Warhammer Combat Cards that doesn't add new cards to the game unless it's a new unit the Games Workshop has just made. However, what they've been doing is because the release schedule is a little screwy, they'll put out a card with like the old model on it and then update the model, right? So that was like one of the reasons why I was like, hey, here's some of the new orcs we're going to get because they just added these orcs to the game randomly for no reason. Doesn't make any sense. And, a lot of those so far have come true. One of the things that they just added in was the Mech Boy Workshop. It has never existed in the game, and that mobile game is older than the model. There is no reason why that model didn't exist in the game, and now all of a sudden it does. And it's not like they don't have terrain in the game as playable cards. They've got the Imperial Guard wall, like the fortress wall thing. They've got that. They've got the Tau shield wall, and then like other parts of the shield wall. There's like the drone port and the big gun and stuff. Like they literally each part of the shield wall has a separate card, right? So there's been terrain cards in the game since the beginning, and they've added new ones as new terrain things have come out, or if they've decided to add them. So it was really odd that Combat Cards would choose to add this card to the game right now. Like literally, it just came out last month when you can't even buy that model Games Workshop. So I absolutely think it is coming back. I think that the focus on orcs and the focus on 11th edition being more narrative gameplay and the terrain mattering, like as long as it fits on that footprint, and the Mech Boy Workshop fits excellent on one of the footprints, the big triangular shaped one. So yeah, I absolutely see that coming back out. I also absolutely see Octarius coming back out. Octarius was one of the most like best-selling terrain sets they ever did, to the point where right now, even though it's only been out of production for about a year and a half, 2 years, every time a set comes up for sale, like Mind Taker Miniatures will get one in, and they'll price it like cheap, like 130 to 150 is cheap for that set these days. and it sells instantly. You get on eBay, they're $200 up for a full Octaria set. So yeah, I mean, it's super rad set. Hopefully it comes back. Hopefully the Mech Boy Workshop comes back. If it does, I would totally buy another one, even though I've already got one. It's just so good. Hey, DeFloofs and Nashes, New Year, New Army, more orcs. Absolutely. All right, let's see what other questions we got here in the chat. Hey, let's see. Nicholas Bouchard 2715 asks, "Hey, old Big Mac, do you think the Runt Herd will be a support character? What would be his prices and abilities?" Okay, full disclosure, as I always do, I am a filthy casual. I do not follow rules that closely, and when it comes to 11th, I haven't read any of them. I am waiting for my Armageddon box because I kind of want that specialness of like cracking open the rule book and like sitting on the couch and actually reading it page by page by page to soak it all in. Okay, I don't do good with rules on a screen. I don't know why. I just don't. Maybe it's because I'm so old, and rule books were always books when I was like my brain was forming. So even though I'm like can use technology, I'm not that old. Like I don't like rules on a screen. I like a book. So I'm not familiar at all with 11th edition rules. That being said, I know what a support character is. For those of you that don't, basically characters are now splitting into two groups, and I'm not talking like the named characters and not named characters because that's always been a thing. I mean, like there's like characters that lead, like you attach them to the squad and they lead the squad, and there are support characters, and support characters can only attach to a squad, whereas leaders can also be independent. And then also, there's something about like support characters can only attach to a squad that already has a leader on it. Again, I could be totally wrong about this. I don't know. I haven't really followed it that closely. I don't see runt herders being a support because you still need somebody to lead the Grot squad. So that doesn't make any sense. You're not going to attach a war boss to a Grot squad. War bosses aren't going to lead Grots. Big bosses aren't going to lead Grots. Nobody's going to lead Grots except for a runt herd. So no, I don't think he's going to be support. As far as like pricing and stuff goes, I don't know. So Games Workshop has confirmed we are getting all new like multi-build, multi-part Grots as a kit that will be different than the Monopose Grots in Armageddon. They have not confirmed whether or not the Runt Herd comes with that squad. They have confirmed Runt Herd is coming. So yeah, he might be an independent character outside of that box. I suspect he's going to fall in line that $40 range that these small characters are, like the baby mech. They're like the single sprue little plastic frame. The old Pain Boy was like that as well. So yeah, like when they do the new Pain Boy, that's not the multi-pose, but the new Pain Boy that's like not the Armageddon one. When they do a new Bananob, when they do a new, well, not the big boss. The big boss will probably be a multi-part kit, but like the Bananob, the Pain Boy, and the Runt Herd will probably be like a single mono build, or maybe like a mono build with two weapons loadouts or something like that. It's going to be kind of that kind of thing. Let's see. Builder Friends wants to know if the new Runt Herd will be Snotflaga from Tacticus. Snotflaga and Tacticus actually is the Runt Herd in the current box. They have him painted very digitally painted, you know what I mean? They have him designed very Beastnaga-ish, but he actually has the right furs on and the right crop pull thingy that the one in the box has. So it's a little bit stylized, but it's not different enough from the box for it to actually matter. But that being said, having runt herders that are a little bit more like kind of weird and different, I think is actually cool. Because like you read the books, especially War Boss was an excellent book that kind of delved into runt herders a little bit. And runt herders are always a little off the rockers when it comes to an orc. So yeah, they should be a little weird. They should be a little, different looking. They should be a little wacky. So yeah, I like that. 9-7 says I have metal runner, so I'm good to go. So I'm at this point now where in my collection I'll have like an OG metal something and whatever the like current plastic one was. And then now I could add the new plastic one, and that'll give me 3, and now, like, the collection is complete. So, like, Pain Boys, right? I have the OG metal Pain Boy. He's very cool. His sculpt still totally fits. Like, he totally works on the base size, his height, if like all the build out, everything's fine. He's metal. He's awesome. And then I have the now old Pain Boy, the one that has the big claw, right? And then the little grot on the backpack. And he's awesome, right? I've got him. And now I'm gonna have the new Pain Boy from the Armageddon box. And like you can only have a maximum of 3. There's my maximum of 3. And I love that all 3 are different. So I've got that for the Pain Boys. I've got that for the shoot. What was I gonna say? The Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun. I have all 3 Big Mechs with Shock Attack Gun, although those are already 3. So I've got the metal like goblin looking one, and then I've got the OG one that was metal and then resin. And then I've got the one that's got the 3 lightning bolts. So maybe if they redo that kit, they make it bigger, it's gonna screw those ones. But you know what I mean? Like I kind of like this collecting 3 of the unit by having like OG metal, like mid hammer plastic, and new hammer plastic, which is pretty cool. Yeah, remove the equalizer is right. It's not like it just has a funny shoulder pad and the face is a little different. You know, and yeah, the actual loadout, his furs and whatnot, they are the current one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mech Boys. That was what I was trying to say. The baby mech. So I've got the Gorka Morka mech, and then I've got the old uh uh mech boy with the custom force field that is now just a mech boy, and then the baby mech that has the wrench and the pistol. So those are my 3 mechs that run around on the game. Hey, hey, Shady Steak says, I just picked up the old Games Day racing knob. Let's go. Is that the one that they based that special edition guy on? What the heck's his name? He's right up there. Gorzag Get Stampa. He's the same pose, right? As that Games Day racing knob. And by the way, thank you so much, Shady Snakes, for number 6 of 20 on our super chats, getting us over 1/4 of the way to our goal so that you guys can see the special paint scheme for my sneaky beakies. Oh, Bill DeFranz of 4927 says, can I ask a lore question? What's a Werboy compared and contrasted to a Weird Boy? A Werboy is taped to a kill rig. A Weird Boy is not. Take that answer to mean they don't know. In the lore, a Werboy was supposed to be like the Beast Naga equivalent of a Weird Boy, but they're not. They were like below a Weird Boy. And so they were kind of trying to like flesh out what that difference was. It was like a Weird Boy that wasn't quite as powerful, but was also a little bit more in control of his orky psychicness. And would actually like use orc technology to try to like harness it versus a Weird Boy just like lets it go, right? That was kind of like the lore difference, but they haven't delved any further into it. There's been no new lore from Games Workshop, nothing in the codexes, nothing in the White Dwarfs, no stories. There's been no other further anything to the point where I don't think Werboy is going to make it. I think that that's one of the units that is going to disappear in 11th edition. You're still going to have Kill Rig. It's just you're not going to have like a Werboy on foot, and he's not maybe even going to be called a Werboy on the Kill Rig anymore. He might be a Weird Boy on the Kill Rig. Who knows? But yeah, basically the answer is they haven't done a great job with it. All right, Shady Snakes. Yeah, I can't wait to see the racing knob. Not the one that looks like Get Stampa. The racing knob is in just a jumpsuit without weapons. Oh, dude, you got a racing knob and didn't tell me? Do you even know what my other channel is? Do you know I have all the things that went with the red ones go faster? You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Lieutenant Azor says, no, let's see it. Unfortunately, we can't post photos in the YouTube chat. I really wish we could, but that's why we have Discord. All right, Kayla6590 says, I want a second army to orcs. What army would you consider to complete opposite playstyle? That is actually a really tough question because orcs have such different playstyles. For example, if you play Green Tide, you are playing a horde army. So like you don't want to go grab another horde army because you're playing a horde army. But if you play Speed Freaks, you're not playing a horde. You're playing a bunch of fast moving stuff, right? So now I'm not going to say Dark Eldar because that's a whole bunch of fast moving stuff. If you play a dread mob, right? You got a bunch of walkers. I'm not going to tell you Tau to go get a bunch of battle suits, right? Like it's too similar. So a lot of it depends on how you play your orcs. Orcs is outside of Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, the army with the most diverse play styles available. It's doubly nice because we're not locked in the way those other armies are, right? So yeah, there's a lot of variety in Space Marines, but the only way to truly get the variety is to actually like go down the road of like being a Blood Angel or being a Black Templar or something like that, right? Like the generic Space Marines really aren't that diverse. Same thing with Chaos, right? You've got to like go be Death Guard or go be Emperor's Children in order to really get different. Bog standard Chaos Space Marines really are kind of monolocked. So when it comes to like, no, like this army, you build your units, you paint them, whatever, you use the same rule book every time. Nobody is as wide and diverse as orcs. So that makes answering that question very difficult. Now, that being said, orcs as a whole tend to not be great at shooting, tend to prefer, if not close combat, at least being close together. So like a lot of our guns are short range or like shoot better in short range and stuff like that. But obviously, we want to WAAAGH, we want to crump things. And then we also tend to be quite tough, but not very armored, right? So like we're hard to hit and hard to kill, but we don't have a lot of armor, right? And outside of Megadobs, you don't really have any armor on anything. None of our vehicles have high armor. So I like to say what you really want to do is find an army that's good at shooting, like actually good, like rolling threes or better most of the time, that has great armor, and then is a play style that has like great armored vehicles so that the vehicles are different. Now, if you're not playing Green Tide, that means Imperial Guard. I've often joked that the Venn diagram, the two circles of Imperial Guard player or and Orc players, is basically one circle, because for the longest time that was true. Um, if you were an Orc player that did not a Green Tide, you played an infantry mob of Imperial Guard. If you played an infantry mob of Orcs, you would do Mechanized Guard and have a bunch of tanks, right? So, it, it just worked. But these days they've changed guards so much that it's really hard to recommend them. Same thing with beakies, right? Like it's very easy to recommend beakies. They have high armor, they're good at shooting, they've got great tanks. But again, the range is kind of so wackadoodle right now. Like, are you supposed to buy a Predator or a Land Raider, or are you supposed to buy like repulsors and impulsors, right? Like, what does that even look like? And then like with how their detachments get all crazy, they're just not great. Honestly, I would go Tau. First of all, Tau are very, very different than Orcs model wise. The Space Marine, and even an extent, Imperial Guard can be quite orcish, right? The beakies are huge, just like Orcs. The Imperial Guard, they have a lot of stuff on them like Orcs, so lots of bags and belts and things. And you're painting green. So instead of painting green skin, you're painting green camouflage, right? Like it's just kind of it's very, very similar. But Tau are very different. The models, like the infantry models, are very small and very spindly, kind of like Eldar. And then the vehicles are, big stompy robots, but not stompy. They're big shooty robots. So you get like a lot of that same, not necessarily aesthetic, right? But like that feeling, right? That 80s nostalgia of like, oh, big robot, cool, right? Only it's big shooty robot instead of big stompy robot. So the army plays differently. The army builds and paints differently. The army looks very different on the battlefield. My other recommendation would be Eldar, and not Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar are actually really, really, really close to orcs, believe it or not, in a lot of ways. But regular old plain Jane Eldar, and again, they're kind of really wide in how you can play them. But the thing that I like most about recommending Eldar to orc players is orc stuff is very brutal, right? Like that's what we're known for. We are brutal and cunning. So our actual models are very rough, right? Like our armor has like jagged, like torch cuts on it, right? And we got like these random spikes sticking out. And when you paint, you want to paint like rust and dirt, and right, like all sorts of cool stuff, right? Eldar is very, very, very clean. It is incredibly smooth and precise and just the absolute opposite aesthetic 2 orcs. Plus, they're very good at shooting. They're very durable in their armor, but once they're hit, they go down like nothing. They have no toughness. So yeah, they're going to just play very, very, very differently to orcs. They're going to paint very differently and collect very differently. So I would say if you really like robots, go Tau because the battle suits are the cooler. But if like you don't really care or like you really like oh my god, the Falcon Graph tank, right? Like is the most iconic Warhammer vehicle of all time. Fight me. The Falcon is number one. Like you show people a Falcon, they go, "Oh, that's Warhammer." You show them a tank, and they might not even know that it's a sci-fi tank, right? Like the Falcon is where it's at. But yeah, like they're just their vehicles are so iconic and so iconically different. Like first of all, they have fly, right? So that's different than all the vehicles we have, and just their shape is very very different. So when you set up your two armies as a collection, they look so wildly different that it really encourages you to go back and forth and enjoy those two different kinds of painting and building and collecting and even playing. Hey, McFadden chiming in with some advice here with a super chat. Thank you so much with that. Is opposites Tau, coward shooting, Custodes, opposite of Horde, Thousand Suns, psychic over melee, GSE, strats with tricks over raw power, and Black Templar non comedic lore. I agree with the Tau. I agree with the Custodes a little bit. Custodes models are like orcs. They're big and they're chunky and they got lots of derp on them, but they do paint very differently. Like trying to paint a Custode very clean and bright is very different than the usually like dark, rusty orcs, right? And then also, yeah, like you buy one box, one combat patrol, you have an army, you're done. Is pretty cool thing. Thousand Suns, that's an outside pick I didn't think about, honestly. Like having all of that psychic energy is definitely something cool. However, I will say Eldar do all of those things, right? Eldar do shooting. Eldar are the opposite of the Horde. They're very high points value for very small squads. They have a ton of psychics, way more psychics than Thousand Suns. You could run Farseers. You can run Warlock Councils. You could have Farseers on jet bikes, Warlocks on jet bikes. You could have the Wraith Guard and the Wraith Lords and the Wraith Knight, which are all powered by Spirit Stones and like immune to psychic stuff, or like just all sorts of really cool stuff there. And then yeah, they could do lots of stretch and tricks and have non-comedic lore. I don't know. They have cool lore though. So yeah, so I'm still gonna stick with Eldar, but I do like your options. Thousand Suns was very outside the box. I do like that. That was a good idea. I want to show the boys that my shooter is the shootiest shooter. Oh, Dirt Hermit with an excellent point. I prefer rivals to opposites. That's why I'm starting a Crimson Fist Beaky army. For those of you that don't know the ancient lore, the Crimson Fists are one of the OG Space Marines. They were the artwork on the third edition Codex. They were the artwork on the original Battle Force box for Space Marines. They were like the OG non first founding chapter. They were the first like expansion chapter to really get expanded lore and stuff. And their whole thing is their home world, Rin's world, was attacked by orcs and absolutely devastated. The orcs rocked them, right? And so the whole chapter nearly died off. And now they have rebuilt since then, and they have an unnatural hatred toward orcs. So there's been a number of special edition Crimson Fist models over the years that are like holding on to an orc head or stabbing an orc or stepping on an orc or whatever, right? So they are mortal enemies, like way more so than even like Black Templar and orcs on Armageddon. The Crimson Fists were around before Black Templars were even invented. Okay, so they are like the OG Orcators. I'm doing the same thing. When I decided to split my Beaky army into two and do like my own custom sneaky Beakies, I decided everybody else that's left is going to be bog standard, and I was going to do Crimson Fist for that exact same reason as Dirt Hermit. I love the idea of having the rivals. So not only am I going to have Crimson Fists, but now that Crimson Fists are on Armageddon in the lore in the current times, I get to base them the same as my orcs because my orcs have always been on Armageddon. Now, when I put my armies on my shelf, I can actually like put them all up like they're facing off against each other and do really cool things like have all of the beakies that are like the helmets and stuff that my orcs have stolen are going to be Crimson Fists, and all of the orcs on my Crimson Fist bases and whatnot are going to be my Speed Freak orcs. So I really love that like head to head rivalry is really, really, really awesome. Prince Farming, Thousand Sun shout out. Woo! Ooh, Commander 6543 with a good question. Given the new lore on how large Gazgul is now, are we thinking odds that he gets a new model this edition? I almost guarantee it. I almost guarantee it. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with the current Gaz model. I love it. He's right there on my shelf. Um, eh, that model was so important to me that I had to like build and paint enough of my army to enough of a standard to feel worthy of doing Gaz, right? Like that's how big of a deal he was to me. I love that model. Really, really cool. That being said, let's be honest, in this day and age, that model is getting a little old for an epic character for Warhammer. They've released two Tituses since him. They've released two Marnies Calgars since him, right? But outside of like the funniness of Ultramarines, um, they've redone a lot of character models recently that were already made. So it's not unprecedented. And in the lore, Gaz is the size of a building. Okay. He would tower over a Primarch. He is absolutely massive. Plus, there's headspace in our actual rules. Like, for example, WAAAGH in the rules right now is like somehow better than Gaz, right? You can't have that. Gaz is the prophet of the Wa, so he's got to be bigger. So there's room in the rules. There's headspace to like make Gaz even bigger and stronger rules wise. So you're going to need a model to match. So I almost guarantee we are getting a Gaz. Now I don't think we're getting him right away, like with our launch release with the Codex. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just don't think it'll happen. I think we might get him as like a standalone thing later on, kind of like when they wrap up the whole worldwide Armageddon narrative based on the games that we're actually playing. They'll decide to like Gas stop somebody, and here's the new Gas model. That's what I think we're going to get. And yeah, I think he's going to be an absolute unit. I think he's going to be one of the biggest single characters they've ever done if they actually do him. So yeah, that would be rad. Man, guys, you are just absolutely rocking the chat. There are so many, I can't even read them all. So if I miss your question, my deepest apologies. It's not on purpose. I'm trying to just scan, and if I see something really cool, I'm talking about it. If you want to guarantee that you get my attention, do one of the super chats. Again, any of them count. There's like ones that are like 99 cents. It still counts towards our goal, and I guarantee you I will read it. So if I'm missing your question or you really want to make sure I get it or see it, go ahead and do that. Plus, we do need 13 more to hit our goal so that you guys can hit the sneaky beakies. All right, let's go on. We've talked about Armageddon pre-orders. We've talked about discounts. Let's talk about this GW using AI thing. Have you guys seen this? This was a new thing that hit my consciousness either yesterday or today. Yeah, I should have had the thing up already, but there was a very recent, there we go. Yeah, it was on Reddit. Let me pull this up to share with you guys. There's a very recent image that came out in an official Games Workshop book that has what appears to be AI in it. So let's get this here. It was in one of the Horus Heresy box sets. There we go. So yeah, this is again, this is a screenshot from a picture in the Horus Heresy box. But yeah, the image on the Horus Heresy box, there's this Space Marine, and he very clearly has 6 fingers. And not only does he very clearly have 6 fingers, but just looking at this period, like the way that the trigger guard is shaped and like kind of everything going around here does not line up. Now, obviously, Games Workshop can grab their own like LLM and feed it all of their images so that it creates something that is, um, at least based on only their official stuff. And it should pop out something halfway decent. But one, this is a creative hobby, right? The whole point on us doing this versus a board game is that we are building these models, we are kit bashing these models, we are sculpting on them, we are painting them, we're coming up with fresh ideas right? Like this hobby is for creatives, it's for artists. So to not support real artists and use AI is a really, really bad look. Um, so yeah, that's just terrible in and of itself. And people were pointing out that, like, yeah, artists make mistakes, right? Not every art is great, but no artist that's actually painting, especially these days with like digital painting where you zoom in, you're not going to like look at this a bunch as you paint all of these shadows and highlights and stuff, and then like realize, oh, I gave them too many fingers and they don't even make any sense with like how they're folded. Like that's clearly generated. So like seeing AI slop on a Games Workshop box art is really disappointing. And that's one of the reasons why I really hate the Games Workshop does not um share who their artists are anymore. Way back in the day, let me this is a fourth edition rulebook, I think. No, obviously not every page has the artist, but somewhere in here it used to have something. But they would credit their artists. Back in the day, they would credit their artists. They used to have a, oh, here we go. Yeah. So here in the back, Heroes of the Imperium, they would list all of their artists for everything. So they had game design and development, backgrounds, those are the people that wrote the lore, hobby sections, so the people that did the hobby sections in here, like taught you how to do, make your own terrain and stuff like that. And then illustrations, right? The late great John Blanche, we poured one out for last week, Alex Boyd, Paul Dayton, David Gallagher, Jess Goodwin, Neil Hodgkin, Paul Geacock, Nuala Kennedy, Carl Kopinski, Stefan Kopinski, and Adrian Smith. So this is every single piece of artwork in this book was drawn by one of them and is credited to them. And that's what they used to do with all of their stuff. And then again, it's not just that, like they had the Citadel miniature designers. So everybody that did the 3D sculpting, right? Like the great Mark Perry and Brian Nelson, right? We have no idea who sculpts their minis anymore because they don't share their artist name, which is garbage. Then they've got all their miniature painters, terrain makers, art direction, graphic design. So that's the people that made like, the edge of the pages and the headings and stuff. Like they put everybody in here, right? So yeah, it's just like to fall so hard that they don't credit their artists anymore. Now they're doing AI slop. Oh, for you guys saying that's 5. Buddy, look at your hand. Look at your hand. How many fingers you got, right? Okay, now hold something like a gun, right? If you are holding something like a gun, how many fingers do you see there? And where's the other one? Right? So he's got to have a thumb. He's not going to have his thumb like this, right? That is definitely 1,000% AI. So yeah, like we get the late great John Blanche, who invented Grimdark, passes away, and in the same week, Games Workshop prints Horus Heresy boxes with AI art. Like what? So yeah, corpse man. Am I right or am I right? Hate that. Absolutely hate that. Yeah, Metalsville, I really hope GW makes an official statement about this. Like that is beyond egregious. Not every art is going to be great, but I mean, come on. Like like in the shapes of like they were parallel, they didn't even make sense, let alone the number of like that is so terrible. I mean, when you've got all sorts of competition now, right? Like there's Trench Crusade, right? Trench Crusade has a ton of great artwork, including by John Blanche, and they credit all their artwork, right? There's no AI slop in that. Like Conflict 47 has all their artwork. There's no AI slop in that. Conquest is using artwork, and if there's all these places crediting their artists, not using AI slop. How in the hell is the multi-billion dollar company that has an Amazon contract like doing this? Like it's just so bad. So yeah, that was the third thing I wanted to talk about on our thing. Oh, we got a question I got to go back to. Thank you, Lieutenant Alzor 99, for the 8th chat. That puts us at almost halfway to our goal here. Says honestly, my one question is, since war bosses are huge, How big are they when compared to different clan examples, Blood Moons and Blood Axes? Oh, meaning are you asking, do war bosses get different size based on the clan? Okay, so here in the lore, war bosses are bigger the WA they are in charge of. Okay, so that's how you get around the more than one war boss on a battlefield and like in the lore and stuff. Like, go read the book War Boss. It talks about this. There's this huge WA, right? And there is a war boss leading this WA, and then within the WA are multiple clans, and each clan has a war boss, right? But even the war boss leading this WA is part of an even bigger WA with a warlord, right? Like, there's always a bigger war boss. So it's the bigger the WA they lead, the bigger your war boss is. Okay. Now, are different clans going to have different size war bosses? I mean, yes. First of all, Captain Badrock, bless his heart, he's a very short guy. Okay. He is the J from Eons of Battle of Orcs. He is quite vertically challenged. He is a very short fella. Um, love him to death. Very short fella. Um, and then you do have war bosses that are quite tall and quite large, right? And like, not even including Gaz, just like regular war bosses, right? Snickrot is another good example, right? Blood Axe War Boss. He's kind of more of an independent character, does his own thing, but he's still right. Like, he's supposed to be like War Boss level. He's not that big for a war boss. So there are definitely different sized war bosses and maybe different sizes even depending on the clans. That being said, the Beast Boss and the Beast Boss on Squiggasaur are absolute units. Those dudes are huge. So the beast snaggers are corn fed, right? Like, they got some girth to them. So they tend to be a little bit bigger. Goths have always been in the lore as being a little bit bigger. Like, they're the biggest, they're the artist, they're the meanest, they're the kind of like Goths are it, right? So, Goth is going to be a little bit bigger. The other ones are kind of in the middle. So yeah, it kind of depends on what you're doing. So if you're making a really giant law for your own army, have a really giant war boss, right? If you're worried about like different clans, it's kind of more, it depends, right? Like, a really giant war boss probably isn't going to ride a bike, but a really giant war boss will probably have mega armor, right? So like, you kind of play with it that way more than thinking about it like with a clan. Oh, hey, we got another super chat in here. Number 9, almost halfway. Thank you, Wookie Gunner, for that. You are amazing. Appreciate you. Says Badrock needs a new model to go with the freebooted detachment. Absolutely agreed. I really, 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 really hope we get a new Badrock model. Now, again, I love the Badrock model. Not only do I have it or had it in resin, I think I actually gave it away when I gave away a huge chunk of my Orc army a couple of years ago. But I just rebought them in that made to order in metal, right? Just to have him back, and to have him in metal, because he is so cool. But yeah, I really hope that they do a new one. All they got to do is just scale it up, like, just reprint them at like 150% size and call it good. Like, honestly. Now, obviously, if they do like a more dynamic pose, I'm going to be into it. I really love the new WAAAGH, other than the fact that he's only on a rock. But I love the Snickrot was an excellent redo of the character. I missed the like more iconic finger, but actually building the model, he's way, way, way cooler. So yeah, I would love to see a new Badruck come out for the freebooters. I would love to see a new Badruck, just what they would do with it, and how they would use that. What I really, really, really want to see is, I would love to see not only Badruck, but I'd love to see Boss Nash Dreg, who's supposed to be above Badruck, and then see a new bigger Gaz, right? Like that trio, I would be in Orky heaven. Hey, Shady Snake's coming in with number 10 halfway. Let's go, guys. You guys are amazing. We are crumping that. Normally we do 10 as our goal, and last week we did 20 and we blew it out of the water. So yeah, like, because we got to show growth too, right? If we just keep doing the same thing, the algorithm doesn't really push us. We got to show that we're growing every time. So yeah, like hitting that 20 2 weeks in a row would be absolutely on fire. So thank you for that. Shady Snake says, any plans for a contest after this one? Yes and no. Yes, I'm planning another contest. No, I have no idea what it is yet. I can tell you it will be for Orktober. Obviously, Orktober is our big push around here. The only reason we did a contest now with the new year, new army is that we knew Armageddon was. We didn't know it was going to be Armageddon. We knew that a new edition was coming this year, and we were fairly certain it was going to be orcs. And I wanted to capitalize on all of that hype, especially being that the early summer tends to be very slow for this channel for some reason. I think it's something to do with most of our viewers are in the northern hemisphere, and as we come out of winter and into nice weather, people go outside more, and they don't spend their time inside watching YouTube or work on the Warhammer stuff like they do in the winter. Typically, um, our views, our viewership, how our videos do everything, it has a peak and a valley to it, and that peak is definitely winter time. Way more people engage with the channel in the winter than they do in the summer. Now, my other channel is a car channel. It's the opposite. In the winter, it is dead as a doornail. Nobody watches that channel. And in the summer, when there's all the car events going on, people watch it like crazy. So the two channels kind of balance each other out, where like summer is typically very busy for the car channel and winter is very busy for the Warhammer channel. So I was trying to, like, especially now that this channel is like 3 times the size of my car channel, like, hey, we need to capitalize, we need to like make summer grow, all that kind of stuff. So we did a contest now. But typically I do a contest every Orktober. So we'll do an Orktober contest. I don't know if it's going to be another kit bash contest. I don't know if it's going to be a painting contest. I don't know if it's going to be an army contest. I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to be based on another IP entirely or not yet. We are less than 30 days from finalizing this, by the way. If you want to know more about that, you should really be a patron on Patreon, because you could be a founder and, like, how I was just showing you this and how these names in the back, people that made it happen. Well, eventually there's going to be a book for this written by our very own Dirt Hermit, and in the back here, right, there's going to be lots of you gets that are on the Patreon. So just something in mind. So, but yeah, there will definitely be a contest. It will be in October. I don't have any other details than that yet because I haven't thought of them yet. I'm an orc. I can only think about 1 to 2 seconds in front of right now. See, like I've already forgotten it. What are my thoughts on the Deathmire World event? Um, I'm not sure yet. I know it hasn't officially started yet because, yeah, like Dirt Hermit says, there's a code in the box, and you've got to use the code to like put in your army or your game result on Deathmire. Um, Look, the very first worldwide event thing that Games Workshop did was for the very first Codex Armageddon, and it was epic and it was wild. It was awesome. This was not pre-internet, but this was back when the internet was dial-up. Okay, you had to unplug your phone to plug in your computer, and then you prayed to the machine gods, and it would make all of these crazy noises. And then you would download photos 1 pixel at a time. I tell the Grots this, and they look at me like I have 3 heads and I'm absolutely pulling their leg. And no matter how many times I try to explain that no, that really was how life used to be, they don't believe me. Even though I'm like, it was the late 1900s. Anyways, I digress. Back then, when they were running that contest, it was not instantaneous. So you actually filled out a paper form with your battle report on it and you mailed it into Games Workshop. And so the event took months, to the point where they were able to print about it in White Dwarf more than one issue before they actually wrapped the whole thing up. A couple years later, they ended up doing the Eye of Terror campaign, which was like the very end of third or beginning of fourth, something like that. And it was the same thing. It was, versus chaos and yada, yada, yada. By then, the internet had started to kind of come around a little bit more. And I think you could submit through the internet on your thing, and so it was a little bit different. But yeah, like nowadays you have like these instantaneous, like everybody can throw in their battle reports right now. It just kind of makes it different. It makes it not, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same. But also, like, when they did the first one, when they did Armageddon, it was literally the whole thing. It was like you could pick if your battle was in space or on Armageddon or on one of the moons or a space station or whatever, and then where on Armageddon, like what are you fighting over on purpose? So like there were whole gaming clubs getting together and going, okay, we want to take over this hive city. So we're going to put all of our games in for this to try to win it in the actual narrative in the world, which is wild, which is really cool. So the fact that they've taken that away, and we're all just stuck on a single uh Hive City is a little lame. So yeah, I don't know how I think about it yet, but I am glad that they are at least running it. All right, fellas. Any other questions? Make sure we get them in there in the chat. And yeah, if we've got 10 more super chats in us before the end of the night, that would be absolutely fantastic. Oh, Studio Fufu with a good question about that other game. Has GW reached out about what you can or cannot plus? No. Okay. So if there's any Games Workshop employees watching now, we're going to go to a commercial break. So you can go get a snack or something. Did they leave? Okay. I can't go into it too much because I don't want to risk things because Games Workshop definitely knows who I am now. And they're not very happy with me. But suffice to say that the other thing that we keep alluding to and talking about um, was abandoned. And there's two ways to abandon old IP. You could either just let it expire, or you could do what they did, which is actually file to go, no, we are washing our hands of this. This is not ours anymore before the expiration, which they did, which leaves it wide open for somebody else to come in. Now, the problem with that is in order to keep unscrupulous individuals from just grabbing any old IP and going, hey, this is mine now, you have to show actual commercial intent because for those of you that are unfamiliar with trademark and patent laws, when you trademark something, you trademark it for the very specific segment it is in. And I do mean very, very, very specific to the point where, like clothing lines, when you trademark things, you don't just trademark clothing, you trademark it for shirts and then you trademark it for hats, which is a different category than shirts because there are places that make shoes and shoes is all they make and their name might be really similar to a place that makes jackets, but they are not the same company, right? And so, just so every single segment has to have its own filing. So, not only did I file for it, I filed for it for very specific segments. Obviously, merch, because we do the drip better than I think anyone. Ask you can ask around about that. Our mug collector, one of our mug collectors ordered a bunch of mugs, got them all in today, and literally DM me photos of dude, look at how well these were packed. Like there is not a single scratch on them with all of the packing, all of the protection, the fragile stickers, like the whole 9 yards. I'm like, yeah, because we choose really good partners to work with. Okay. We are very proud of our merch. But so I had to not just prove commercial intent, I had to show that we were legit, right? So that's why we have a business license. That's why I push the merch so hard, and why we keep the price on the merch stuff so low is we're trying to show growing sales, and that this isn't just some we're trying to keep it from the poor multi-billion-dollar company. Look, they filed to abandon it. We are filing to take it, and we are actually going to use it and make it grow. So no, I have not heard from them. I hope I do not hear from them. And if I do hear from them, I'm going to have to spend a lot of tea fighting them, going, no, you filed to abandon it. You suck. It's mine now. I painted it blue. I licked it. It's mine. That's what we're doing. So, again, if you guys want to know more about that, well, we could talk behind closed doors because obviously the Games Workshop shill is not going to pay money to be a Patreon. We talk about it very, very freely over there. If you have any further questions or you want to be a part of that project, come over to Patreon. That's where you can find everything about that. Yeah. So, and for those of you that don't know, our own Dirt Hermit right here in the comments, he's been building a RPG based on this for years. And that is 100% his and always will be his. What we've kind of talked about is if and when we get the trademark for this, one of the things I did file for was to be RPG rules as well as tabletop rules, would be this he just gets to use it. He wants his rules to be free. I totally respect that, and want that too. We're not going to charge him. It's going to be the official RPG. We've talked about hey, let's get the rules out there. We'll do a free PDF or something, and then maybe we can offer a printing service where if people do want it printed, they're paying to have it bound nicely, right? But obviously, the rules are not paywalled or anything. So yeah, very separate thing. Dirt Hermit's doing his own thing, but we've already talked multiple times. I fully intend on allowing him to use that name fully trademarked, and specifically when you get these categories, you have to pay for each and every single category separately. quite a bit of money each. And RPG rules are separate than tabletop rules. So I filed for tabletop rules, I filed for RPG rules, and I filed for all the merch. So yeah, so like no, we take care of each other. We are building a community here. That's why you guys all know all of the artists that do all of my work, and I link to their work so that you can go support them with the other projects they do, right? So we are going to be supporting Dirt Hermit with his RPG fully with that. So yeah, very, very, very much a partner up thing on that. Hey, DeFloofs and Nashes with another one. Thank you, my friend. That's number 11. We are over the hump. We are on the downslope now of our super chat goal here with number 11, Fragile. Must be Italian. Oh man, now I want to sell a leg lamp that's a squig leg. You guys keep giving me the best merch ideas. I need to have a multi-million dollar company so I can actually make all of this crazy stuff happen. Because tell me you wouldn't buy a leg lamp that was a squig leg so that you could do the fragile joke all the time and also be orky about it. Like the stuff, it just comes to me. Like the voices of Gork and Mark. Yo, WAAAGH21 with a huge, huge one here. Thank you so much again. Everyone counts. I don't put a minimum on my super chats, but I super appreciate when you guys do bigger ones like that. That is awesome. I love that. Thank you so, so much from the bottom of my heart. Again, all of this stuff, not only does it like feed the algorithm to like make the channel grow, but the whole point of all of this is for this. We spent into the 4 digits of teeth on this so far. Like this is a big thing. We are, as I have said, I fully intend on. Do you guys remember the old Games Workshop before they were a corporation when they were owned by the employees and they were actually like punk rock counterculture and cool, and they would do things like tell you to use models from other ranges and like build stuff out of toilet paper tubes and deodorant sticks and stuff. We are trying to make that happen again, right? So everything that you guys are doing with this is what's feeding that business, that will, if it ever actually gets that big, will become the type of business that is owned by its actual employees and not stock market and stinking, venture capitalists and stuff. So like you guys are literally building this greatness. So I super duper appreciate that. So thank you, Watch21. So let's read the question. It says, have you noticed that they're pushing the old knob models nonstop? Been seeing that set everywhere. Noticed it was limited in my local shop, but now I see this model constantly in stores and online. If I remember right, it went on limited stocks available and then sold out online recently on GW's own website. That being said, I've said this in previous videos. I don't think knobs are part of our first wave right after Armageddon with those like 8 kits that we're supposedly getting. I think that they are going to be a kill team and they're going to be a little bit later on. But yeah, Games Workshop likes pushing old kits before the new kits come out to make sure that they sell out of the stock of the old kits first. You guys all saw that within the last 3 months with WAAAGH Gutsmech, right? They launched WAAAGH Gutsmech, the speediest of speed freaks, the really cool boss on the bike. And all of the photos of him were with the old bikes, including the cover of the lore book thing, whatever that launched him, right? And everyone's like, oh, we're not getting new bikes. And I'm like, that actually proves we are getting new bikes. And people said I was crazy. And then what happened? We got new bikes that Games Workshop themselves showed off with their cheeky little response video on the pre-painted terrain thing where they were zooming the bikes around it. They were the new bikes. So yes, if you are seeing old knobs pushed like crazy out of a sudden, that is a guaranteed tell that new knobs are coming. So definitely, definitely, definitely new knobs are coming. That being said, the old knob kit honestly stands up. The poses are not as dynamic as all of the new knobs that have come out, obviously, but size-wise, they're pretty dang good. And also, that kit comes with a ton of extra bits. It is one of my absolute all-time favorite kit bash kits. You can make so many characters and so many special models out of that kit. I have no problem whatsoever with like buying a knob kit and just holding on to it, just hoarding that thing for its precious bits. It was one of my top 5 kits in that video I did like 10 months ago now on the 5 kits to buy and 5 kits to skip before 11th edition, which by the way is still perfect. I would not change a single kit on either list. I think I absolutely nailed that one. Knobs was on my 5 best kits. Like buy a Knobs kit, hold on to it. It'll be great for kit bashing. But yeah, we are definitely 1000% getting new knobs. They're probably going to be way more dynamic and probably a little bigger, obviously on 40mm bases. But that being said, I got no problem with the knobs. Here's kind of my plan with knobs, by the way. So those of you that already have giant collections like I do, if you wanted to loot this like a death skull, you totally can. Obviously, knobs are getting bigger moving forward, right? All of the knobs in boys squads are moving to 40mm bases, and the knobs themselves are bigger. A lot of the characters have moved up and gotten bigger as well. The newer, bigger knobs, like the two or the version that builds 2 different ways from the new the old monopose boys kit. I'm not sure what we're going to call that kit anymore. Just monopose boys for Armageddon boys. The monopose knob in the monopose boys is huge. That dude is a unit. He would make a great kit bash fodder for a big boss, right? Or something like that. The knobs in the regular knob kit are a little bit smaller, and then the knobs that are like in the boy kit is like the squatty knob. He doesn't count as a knob anymore. But the regular knobs that are in the current kit, those guys, all the ones that I own, are being disseminated to my boys squads to be the knob in each boy squad. And then the bigger, crazier knobs are being relocated into my standalone knob squads. So that's kind of how I'm repurposing it. Because obviously a knob leading a squad of boys isn't going to be as big or as fancy as a knob that like gets to be in the war boss's retinue, right? So that's the size difference and like the sculpting difference that I'm using. Feel free to copy that. Oh man, while I was covering that, we got some more in. You guys are absolutely amazing. We're now at 14 out of 20. Shady Snakes in with I commissioned art for my character in Dirt's game. That's awesome. In fact, I think you may have used the same artist as well. Dirt Hermit turned me on to the artist that he used to commission some art for his game. And I am talking with that artist about doing a shirt. I'm actually kind of fresh out of ideas that their artwork would be good for at the moment. So I'm really trying to rack my brain on that. But we have absolutely committed to doing a shirt with them. But yeah, when this takes off, we plan on using all of our artists to help make art for the book, both for Dirt Hermits as well as whatever we do with it with merch and all that stuff. So yeah, but man, commissioning an artist, guys, don't do AI slop. Find an artist. Go talk to Velgarn. Go talk to BenBam. Go talk to Dark Force One, who did our New Year more orcs. Like, look at this Grot. I love this guy. Right there we go. You got to get my tongue in there. I saw his artwork that had been commissioned by a different orc player on Reddit, and I was like, dude, I love this guy's art. So I went. I looked up his because obviously the person who commissioned the art tagged the artist like you're supposed to and gave credit. Said, hey, I commissioned this guy. Is this cool? And I went and looked at his portfolio and I was like, man, I love this character creation. I've got this perfect idea for it. Ran it by him, loved it. Off we went. Right. So commissioning an artist to do artwork is an awesome thing to do. Like, way to support a fellow creative, way to support, either a small business or somebody's like, side hustle that's helping them like make it day to day. Right. Support your artists. That's why they are tagged in literally every single description of every single video. I tag all my artists, which by the way, guys, I'm redoing the website, the Red Ones Go Faster, the merch site. We are going to have a whole dedicated section to all the artists with a bio for each of them and links to all of their socials and their portfolios and stuff in perpetuity. Anybody that's ever done art for me will be on that site forever, will be, cited forever because that matters. So yeah, absolutely do that. Hey, and by the way, if you guys are commissioning art, you can commission music too. There's this little band, I'm not sure if you've heard of them, called the Goth Rockers, the artist band in all the galaxy. They, who are a real metal band, right, by the way, who play Adepticon every year, I commission them to do the intro music for the Red Ones Go Fasta. You can commission a band to do a theme song, man. Like, how cool is that? So yeah, thank you, Shady Snakes. To the squig leg lamp. Do it, Big Mac. Hey, if we get a couple million more super chats, I'll go get that going. I'll get that made, right? All right, Monkey Coder here with another one. Said that's what we need. Less leg, big business. Oh no, that's what we need. Less big business. Yeah, absolutely. Um, for those of you who don't know, I do have a degree in business. I'm actually in grad school. I graduate in less than 2 weeks with my master's in business, and the red ones go fast. It happened organically. I did not mean for it to be a business. I was actually not looking at being a business owner. I was in business for accounting side to do government accounting because that's my day job. That's how I actually pay the bills around here. Um, and it just kind of happened. But as it happened while I was going to school, I shifted some focus a little bit in order to actually be business. But there are different types of businesses, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of like corporations, partnerships, or proprietorships, stuff like that. There is a specific type of corporation, generally called a B Corp, where it is owned by the employees. And so every single employee is an equal owner, usually, in the company. And so when somebody comes on board with the company, they become a part owner. And when they no longer work for the company, they have to divest of their ownership of it. But that is like that is the goal. When we actually get big enough to be a corporation to have to worry about that kind of thing, to do that kind of thing and have employees, I fully intend on it being like that. It needs to be something that is there for the good of the community and what they're trying to build and not just there to make a buck. That's why all this stuff is priced so cheap. We make barely nothing on any of these. In fact, if I showed you guys my spreadsheet, you'd be like, you are the stupidest business person on the planet because a lot of times we actually lose money on our stuff. Like when I throw you guys discount codes out there, it ends up costing me money because I run my margins so razor thin. Because again, I'm not here to like actually make a buck. I'm trying to show commercial sales growth in order to actually fully get that with the thousands that we've spent on it, so that we can actually build a real business with this momentum. So yeah, less big business, more actual small business, owned by the people that work there, using real artists, actually, you know, crediting all of their artists for all of their work, whether it's 2D, 3D, lore, layout, like everything. That's the goal. That's the world domination. And eventually our business will be so big that we will be able to buy Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop and take it back. Or at least Battlefleet Gothic. Pick your battles. All right, there was another one that I missed. There we go. Number 14 with remove equalizer said I put the knob huge choppas on my Storm Boys. Ooh, I like that. Storm Boys is another one that I think we're going to get a kill team of eventually. I think a while from now, not like right away. But because I really do like the current Storm Boys, but I would love to see what new Storm Boys would look, specifically the knob. Because yeah, a knob with a huge choppa with a jump pack, epic. That would be so rad. Hey, look at that. Number 16. 4 to go, guys. 4 to go. In 4 more super chats, we have hit our goal for the second week running at a massive 20 chats, totally making this channel grow so that we can hit 10,000. Because I don't need to tell you guys, but YouTube's algorithm, it pushes bigger channels. And the bigger you get, the harder it pushes. So the first 1,000 took like a year on this channel. And then we've been knocking down 1,000 ever since. The first 10,000 is going to take us like 4 years. The second 10,000 will probably take us 4 months. So us getting to 10,000 is absolutely huge. And you guys being in these super chats is part of making that grow because it tells the algorithm that you love the content and then it pushes it to more new people, which is why you see new people in this chat every single week. So absolutely love that. WAAAGH21 says, Oi, old Big Mac, you the best for standing against AI and standing up for real artists. He was Papa Orky to Big Mess, the best Big Mac around. Dude, I appreciate that. I try to live my life by putting out there like what you want back and what is good and what is right. And seeing things like AI slop take out artists, people that used to be able to do commission work and have a little side hustle or just be able to make ends meet or like that's their career, that's what they want to do, and they're being replaced by this garbage that is literally made off of stolen goods, right? Like all of these models are built off of stolen images online, right? Like Reddit is the number one source for all of their facts. Like, come on. Like when I post on Reddit, I don't post so some giant megacorp can take what I post and regurgitate it to somebody else while, killing an environment. Like, forget that. That is not the reality I want to live in. So I like to support artists here locally. Like, I love going to live music and supporting my local live bands. They are super duper awesome. I don't want to go to a show that Ticketmaster's in charge of. I don't want to pay some, giant megacorp record label. Like, I want to support my local indie guy, which, by the way, if you want to know who that is, so his name is Tony Smiley. He's the Loop Ninja. He's really awesome. You could find his stuff online, but he also has a band called The Hurdles. They did a song last summer that was an absolute banger. We will talk about it on the Discord. But yeah, like I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. So yeah, I support the artists, I support the music scene. That's what I want to build. When I go out to eat, I go to local restaurants. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat chain restaurants. I don't go to corporation restaurants. I have my favorite locals where I know the owners, where I know the mom and pops, where when I travel to small towns, like I go eat at the little restaurants in the small towns, right? Like that's what I want to spend my teeth on, and that's what I want to support. And that goes to this business as well. Yo, Swift 182 with Grot. Wow, I love it. And then Wookie Gunner with another one. Go, 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 goal. We are 2 away. You guys are absolutely amazing. You are crushing it. I love it. I love it. You guys are amazing. You are making this the fastest growing YouTube channel in all of the fastest growing Warhammer channel in all of YouTube. There we go. I'll get it right eventually. The mouth stops working after a couple of hours. Oh, and our own Dirt Hermit there with the counter. We're up to 90%, just two left, man, and we have absolutely hit it. We are also kind of winding down. We got about 15 minutes left, so we're starting to get close on time. Not only for the super chats, but just for me. That's been a couple of hours now. I have been yapping at you, and I would like to go paint some of my guys and yeah, maybe refill my waters. So if you've got any further questions, definitely get them in the chat now, whether super chat or not, so that we could talk about them before we're done. Ooh, I'm going to capture a squid. Watch this. I'm going to beat that. I got hissed at. This one's the grumpiest one. This one is Shadow. This is the Hunter Squig. Ooh, yeah, see. That one doesn't like being captured. Like I said, we got a lot of squigs, a lot of grots. Let's go chat. Oh, number 19, Lieutenant Azor 99. So the very next super chat will be the goal. And then I get to show you guys and talk about my finalized paint scheme for the Sneaky Beakies. So Lieutenant Azor 99. Now the real question is what's in the Orc Codex? That is an excellent question. We don't know yet. It's not coming out yet. We don't know which one is in. Oh, Shady Snakes with it. Yes. Number 20. Let's go. Goal achieved. Thank you, participants. Shady Snakes with the last one. You guys are amazing. Oh, then McFadden with the bonus. I love it. And DeFlus and Ashes as well for the algorithm. And yes, Shadow is gorgeous. We always say she's our designer cat. She chose to live with us. That's how these things go, right? Squigs just show up. 40K classic old world style. Would you play? Absolutely. So in our world domination business, by the way, guys, our tabletop game is going to be designed to be Warhammer Classic. And when I say Warhammer Classic, I mean the things that actually made Warhammer like so immersive, like templates, like armor facing on vehicles, like initiative, and specifically army building. It is all going to be about army building. So it's not going to be Magic the Gathering with extra steps. There's not going to be a zillion different detachments. There's not going to be all of these army-wide special rules and then stratagems and then enhancements for the stratagems and then like none of that. So if you liked old school Warhammer where you spent a lot of time building your list and you had one detachment and like you played this narrative game where it actually mattered what you did on the battlefield and not what kind of special rule you had, that's the kind of classic style game we are going to be making. So yeah, very, very, very happy with that one. But yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. Super appreciate that. Yeah, everybody hit the thumbs up button there. And then also on all of these, give these boys some love for making this happen. Super appreciate it. I know not everybody is in the position to do that. So you guys that can't do the super chats, make sure you thumbs up the guys that do. Show them your appreciation for helping grow this channel. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, 9420 Empire 3. Third edition can be played with the core book only. Absolutely. And then fourth edition is good if you want to use the codexes. That's the ideal, is you use the fourth edition rulebook, this one right here, with third edition codexes. That is like ultimate mid-hammer to me. But if you get a third edition rule book, it has the index in the back with all of the army rules in it. They're very pared down, but they're at least there. You could play out of just that book forever. By the way, this is one of the things that will be for sale at my garage sale round 2. I said I was going to do it last weekend, and it got busy with the Grots. I didn't get around to it. Plus the whole college thing. But I am going to do it. I promise you, I have a whole pile of things here, including orky things, to garage sale out. So if you missed the first round, if you want to get some old Big Mex cool stuff in the garage sale, make sure you are on Discord. I will try to announce it beforehand to like really give everybody enough time to be there. But that stuff is coming. Yes, Dirt Hermit, random tables, you are 1000% correct. Random tables are definitely going to be in there. Ooh, Punch asks Old Big Mac, any advice on how to kit bash for a knob squad, planning to add them to Gaz with power claws? Well, first of all, just buy the knob box. The knob box comes with 3 power claws and a power saw and a power stabba in it. So that's a great place to start. And then if you've got the old boys kit, there's an extra power claw in there. The old Warbikers kit also has an extra power claw in there. And then I forget what else. There was something else that had a power. Oh, Mega Knobs comes with a bunch of power claws, although they're a little awkward to put on the non-Mega Knob models. But yeah, just kind of get some power claws from different places. You could also use like Lightning Claws and Power Fists from Beakies and Chaos Beakies. Those make great power claws as well, because why wouldn't we loot them? So yeah, that's what I did. My Knob squad that was power claws was all like looted claws and stuff. That's what we would do. Shadow just showed up. The squig distribution system at work. Yep, absolutely. That is how most of them have happened. All right, guys, let's show you the sneaky beakies before we sign off on this stream. Tug Bobo has to go off to sail a ship, for example, so he's gonna have to catch this when we post it on YouTube later. But let me grab the beakies. All right. So here we go. For those of you that have not been following, my New Year, New Army goal was sneaky beacons. He just like totally fell off apart. Oh, his toe again. Oh, his toe keeps falling off. Anyways, my New Year, New Army is sneaky beakies. And I took all these guys and I built them all over the last several months that we've been doing this contest. And I've been saying the whole time that they are going to be a custom chapter. And it all goes back to when I started Warhammer 40,000. See, when I got into Warhammer, started off with Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I really like Bretonians. I had a friend that did them. And then I discovered Warhammer 40,000, had another friend that did that, discovered my cousins did it, all grew from there, right? You guys know that story. When I bought the third edition launch box, and it was legit a launch box, and it was the starter set that was used all third edition, but I bought the actual like launch weekend version that had the sticker on it because inside was the metal captain with the power axe version, who I still have. I don't still have. It's not my original one. Good friend of mine, War Boss Fred, actually bought me a vintage one so that I could replace my long lost one, which was really, really awesome. So one of my most cherished models. But when I bought that box, I decided I was going to do a Beaky army. And I came up with this whole lore and background and paint scheme and all that. And they were called the Strikers, and they were supposed to be kind of more tactical than like all crazy bright colors like all of the Space Marines were at that time. And I painted them green with white shoulder pads and some black trim. And I didn't even get a whole squad done before a hurricane came. A very, very big one. Hurricane Floyd was Category 5. It like literally cut Cat Island in half. We evacuated. everything was fine for us. It didn't actually end up hitting where we lived, but just in the whole like evacuation coming back and all that, they kind of got destroyed. Like here I am with like my brand new hobby that I'm super into, and this brand new squad that I was super excited about, and it's literally destroyed. Like in the moving and the packing, and the like, it just got walloped. So I abandoned the green idea. I built whatever I had left, like the land speeder and stuff. Ended up getting some more guys. I fixed some of my guys. My ones that were destroyed eventually got like really, really destroyed and turned into Legion of the Damned. So I did have one squad of Legion of the Damned that was actually my original squad, but my army was still the Strikers, but they ended up being like a sky blue color. Um, and they were sky blue for a while, and then I decided to go Black Templar when Codex Armageddon came out because that was just way, way, way cooler. Again, third edition launch box, right? John Blanche artwork on the front. Black Templar were rad. They finally made models that look like that and rules that look like that and Space Marines with chainswords, right? So I cut them all apart, turned them all into Black Templar. But I always had in the back of my head that if I ever did a custom chapter, it would be my OG chapter. And here's the lore behind it is the Strikers were a chapter and something happened to their initial like they would I don't know which chapter they came off of it, like as in like I don't remember, but I had picked one of them that they were a splinter of, like Crimson Fist or something like that, that they were like a next founding, that like one of the chapters had gotten too big, they needed to split off, so they split off with these guys, and it started off with a single company, and that single company got lost in the warp. And when they found out that they got lost in the warp, they split off a company again and tried again with the different color scheme, right? And so that was my lore. Then the whole Primaris thing happened. So now in my headcanon lore, it's the same thing happened. There was a chapter that got too big. They decided to let one company become a new chapter. That company went into the warp. They got lost forever. Nobody knows what happened to them. However, all of the Imperial records still show that they exist. So when the Primaris Marines were made, they made all these Primaris Marines for this chapter, and then they couldn't find the chapter. So all of these Primaris Marines with no idea like anything about their chapter or even where their chapter came from decided that, you know what, we're just going to move for it anyway. And so they are the Strikers and they are sneaky. Part of their sneakiness is they are still searching for what happened to their chapter. And what has happened to their chapter is their whole original chapter became Legion of the Damned. So I will have Legion of the Damned squads eventually, and like if they ever run into each other on the battlefield, that's the whole thing. Is they're kind of chasing around these Legion of the Damned because they actually know that the Legion of the Damned are them. Okay, so that's all my cool background lore. So they're called the Strikers. They are sneaky. Everything in the army is either Phobos or Gravis and is very much tactical. There are no tabards, there's no robes, there's no capes, there's not even any purity seals. I am talking very tactical. Now, for the paint scheme, I went back and forth between trying to do something green and trying to do something blue. Here's the problem. I already have a lot of green. Obviously, you paint the orcs green, right? And then I have a huge Imperial Guard army right there that's painted green. I paint a lot of green. I didn't want to paint any more green. And then with blue, best Grot Space Marines are Ultramarines. They are blue. And I've already said that my regular Ultramarines are going to be Crimson Fists. They're also going to be blue. So I didn't want to do green, didn't want to blue, didn't want to do blue. I tried looking at turquoise and stuff, but everything I painted looked like a Son of Horus, right? It looked like that Horus Heresy army, really cool looking look, but like it didn't matter what you did to it, it still looked like them, right? So I couldn't do it. I was like, I need to do a completely different color. So I thought back to my original premise of them being sneaky, and I'm like, okay, what is actually tactical? What is actually sneaky? Right? Oh, black. Well, I've already painted a giant black army. I had black Templars. I don't want to paint a black army again. And so I really didn't want to do black. And I just didn't know what to do. I really played around with Silver Skulls or doing a Silver Skulls style paint job with metallic. And that got me down a road. Now, here is the inspiration. Actually, let me pull up a photo here so that you guys see what I am talking about, because this is very much perfection right there. Oh, come on. It was perfection, and then there we go. Open in new tab. Bingo, bingo. Okay. Here is the actual like aha moment. This is what I want. This is an F-22 Raptor. Now, real life war sucks, right? Like we're not doing anything about that, but just objectively coolness. This is really, really cool. Do you see the canopy? Do you see how it's this coppery color and it has like this reflectivity to it? I wanted to do something like that. So I started painting shoulder pads copper and then putting different coatings on them to get this look. And I went and bought some different paints, like some turbo dork paints and stuff that had color changing on them because I want to replicate that look. And here's the idea: is these guys are sneaky, right? The ones with camo cloaks on, right? Because these are not capes; these are camo cloaks. Are going to be painted in the camouflage color, right? So I can't paint their armor camouflage because they have camo cloaks on. And I'm like, okay. And then also they're very technologically advanced. So stealth coatings, right? So I am doing stealth coatings on their shoulder pads with the idea being a shoulder pad is going to reflect radar, right? So if they had some sort of a stealth coating on them, like that coppery color, it would like do weird things with the radar and make the radar not work. And then the rest of their armor would be a neutral color. Now, let me stop sharing so you see the bigger guys. Okay. So this guy is not painted at all other than his shoulder pads. Okay. So don't don't get into the blue. But yeah, so like there's the plain copper and there's the copper with a gloss blue coating. I'm trying to get some better lighting. All right. So there was that idea. There was like, okay, so I got the shoulder pads down, need to make the rest of it, right? So we started off with black. Now the black looks objectively cool. The problem is, even though it's black and copper, it looks too much like Black Legion black and gold, right? Pardon me, I'm talking too much. So I really played around with doing the black different, like doing like a really dark blue desaturated or like a really desaturated dark green. They looked okay, but like the green looked too much like a Dark Angel. The blue looked too much like a cross between an Ultramarine and a Crimson Fist. So yeah, so I wasn't happy with base colors, right? But yeah, so I've got this copper going on, and this is true metallic copper from Tamiya, which is to me the best copper color for this. So it's like, okay, let me try different colors. So I looked at brown because I thought a root beer brown colored Space Marine army would be very different. Like there is tan armies out there, right? Like there's the Raptors that are OD green, the Revilers or something, and then yeah, like there was the Badab War Blood Angels were like tan camo. I wanted to do something different, so I did brown, and I kind of liked that, except for there's not a lot of contrast. Now, this shoulder pad is the finalized shoulder pad, by the way. See how it has like this tiny little bit of like a blue-green tinge to the edges of it? The center is still the reflective bronze, but the edges have that sheen to it. That's what I'm going to be doing. But I thought that the brown didn't contrast enough. So I kept looking at my F-22 and I went, bro, paint them gray. So this is the final look. So this is a dark Tamiya gray, very, very dark. And then the weapons are black. And then the shoulder pads are the copper. Now, these don't have the coating on them yet, but these will have the coating on them to look like this guy's shoulder pad. And then all of the little pouches and stuff are black. And then the weapons are blacked. And yeah, that is the color scheme. So yeah, copper and gray, and then you'll notice the head, the center part, the reaver like is the reflective gold as well, or the copper as well. That is on purpose. I didn't want the whole head to be copper because that looks kind of dumb, and also like again, they're supposed to be tactical. You paint like the whole head a different color on a sergeant, like they're gonna get shot. So I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to draw your eye to the face. So doing just the actual facial bit made it look really cool without like overdoing it. So I am super stoked with how this turned out. I think this, especially with like Reaver armor and Phobos armor, that this looks sick. This looks tactical. It's very different than any of my armies. It's very different to paint. And it works really awesome with the camo. So the camo cloaks, by the way, are going to be urban style, going to be kind of like digital and modern looking. So imagine like a lighter gray with like black and white, squares or triangles or whatever as the digital cloak. With this, it's really going to contrast great. And then the bases are going to be kind of look like they're in a city. Because again, the whole thing about them being sneaky is that they go into places where the enemy doesn't know they're coming. And a lot of their enemies are gene stealer cults, infesting into things, chaos cults infesting into things, maybe some planetary governors that have strayed from the emperor's light, right? So they're kind of covert. They work with a lot of assassins from, the Assassinorium. So, and then like some inquisitors and stuff, because I do have like inquisitor models and assassin models. And since I don't really use those with my Imperial Guard, like I needed something to use them with. So boom, perfect. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some Death Watch with these guys at some point, which was also another reason to not do black. And then again, Legion of the Damned are going to be black. So yeah, I think that these guys are just going to look absolutely sick. Super, super stoked to see what they look like all done up. And then I think the paint scheme is going to transfer really well to the vehicles because again, I can do these big flat panels, right? And then these shoulder pieces that are like reflective can have the copper coating on it with like the cool sheen to it. And then like, so that the radar reflective and then the rest of it in that like battleship gray color. Yeah, I am so stoked. I have not been this excited about an army like paint scheme in a really, really long time. Like I think that this is something truly unique. It pulls together all my lore. It pulls together like what the army is supposed to be, and I think it's going to look amazing on the tabletop. The knees and the ankles are wrecked. Oh yeah, Great Axe God would go sweet with them too. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. You guys got the first look. Deflucid Ashes says to me it has a chrome mirror color. Yeah, so does what the heck is the name of that stuff? Yeah, there's a Molotov. Molotov liquid chrome is the original liquid chrome thing. I am considering like liquid chroming and then putting a copper on top of that to make it even more reflective and shiny and crazy. So yeah, I keep these guys I've repainted a bunch of times. Their shoulder pads as I keep playing with the reflective look to get what I want. Because yeah, I definitely want that like multifaceted, like what color is this really? Thing going to it. So yeah, in between the chrome pins, in between the turbo dork, in between the Tamiya clears, I'm going to come up with something really, really awesome on there. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a copper basing on it. So yeah, boom, there we go. No capes. Wait, what did be a hell of an every kit's an or kit challenge. Oh, old Big Mac, would you build a mech gargantuan squig off like your buddy did for video? Oh, you mean Warboss Ken? Oh, those of you who don't know what Shady Six is talking about, you got to go watch that video. That was October. That was October 2 years ago, I want to say, because that was before I broke my arm. Warboss Ken, who I used to play with all the time, was one of our local guys that's super into competitive play. Massive orc player, really awesome collection, all Bad Moon style. He built a gargantuan mech squig off that is just the bee's knees. We did a whole episode on it, showing it off in person, all the little details. Dude, this thing was sick. It's bigger than a Bane blade. Yeah, I would love to build something like that. I've talked about this before on the channel. That oh, Calvin, what happened? Oh, your knee. Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. In the chat, some people are talking about aging. It happens. Believe me, I know it. Yeah. Anyways, um, Yeah, I would love to do something like that, but I've talked about this before on the channel. One of my goals is eventually this whole back wall is going to be a shelf for the army, and that shelf is going to be the shape of an orc kill cruiser. And then the whole army is going to be like in the bowels of the kill cruiser. That is like my ultimate idea at some point. But also one of my like production ideas is I want to build a carrying case for orcs that looks like a mega gargant. So you wheel your mega gargant into the tournament, and then you open it up and out comes your army trace. I want to build that, right? So yeah, that's one of the goals. But yeah, anyways, that's enough for tonight. I've been talking for over 2 hours. We absolutely annihilated that goal. You guys are the absolute best. I love each and every one of you. We talked at length tonight about Armageddon, discounts, GW and their stupid AI art, and what we do like moving forward, what we're going to be doing with our IP. And I want all of you guys to be a part of it. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, enjoy the super sneak peek of the Sneaky Beakies. I'll try to get some photos of these guys up on the Discord soon, probably by the end of next weekend. But yeah, fantastic stream tonight. Really loved hanging out with you guys. Excellent as always. I love Monday Night WAAAGH. Like, you have no idea. Like Mondays, right? They suck, right? They've always sucked. A lot of us work a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 kind of gig, right? And it's just not the greatest of days. So to always have this to look forward to, that I get to come be on stream and hang out with you guys, and it just kind of makes the week a little brighter. It makes Monday a little less bleak. Really, really, really super love it. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Super appreciate all the love tonight. Everybody, again, hand clap and thumbs up to all of our super chatters. Thumbs up on your way out the door. We'll catch you in the next video for sure, because I got a bunch of sneaky beakies to paint before June 20th, which is when you guys need to be done with your armies as well. But yeah, so I'll get working on that. You guys work on your stuff. We'll catch you again at the next video. And until then, walk on. Monday Night WAAAGH is better than Tuesday Night Scrapdown. One day when we take over the world, we'll have all the wrestling, Yeah. Later, guys. Have a good night.